Check. 1, 2, 3.
The D.
Brief.
This is the D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's
arts and entertainment scene.
This is the D
Brief.
Hello and welcome to the podcast for and about Detroit artists and entertainers. I'm Seth Ressler.
And I'm Becky Scarcello.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about what goes into producing pop-up events. We'll do shout-outs as well. Joining us for that conversation is Carlos Parisi. He is I'm going to call you a food entrepreneur because you are involved in so many food-related projects around the city of Detroit. It's really quite amazing.
It all started because I was really hungry.
Are you still hungry?
I'm always hungry, yeah.
Always.
Well, two of the projects are these pop-ups that you've got, Khana and Swerve. We're going to talk about what those are a little bit later in the show. And we're happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
All right, Becky, let's start with some trivia.
I would love to. So we got Valentine's Day coming up. So I thought we would do some questions around that. Some Valentine's favorite things. Chocolate comes to mind, right?
Love chocolate.
So the most famous, arguably, chocolate coming from Detroit is Sanders. What do you guys say? Saunders?
I grew up saying Saunders.
I didn't grow up here.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
Since you've been here?
Saunders sounds higher, I don't know, just a little bit more foo-foo.
So according to the company, equally...
That's a cop-out.
I know, but equally correct. They don't want to alienate any customers, but it's just like you said, how you grew up is just how you say it. So totally. I say Sanders.
You say pop?
Yeah, I definitely say pop.
100%. So the company was started by Fred Sanders Schmidt in 1875.
Sanders Schmidt.
Mm-hmm. And he cut out the Schmidt. And his first store was on Woodward Avenue and State Street. So what two things did Mr. Sanders claim to have invented? A, the bumpy cake, B, hot fudge, C, ice cream sodas, or D, salted caramels? What two of those things?
Two of those things are correct.
Okay.
That he invented.
How come I got a food trivia question against the food guy?
That he invented? Yeah, he definitely invented the hot fudge. That's one.
I don't think it's the bumpy cake. Bumpy cake has got to be New Orleans.
I mean, Saunders is known for doing the bumpy cake. They're known for their bumpy cake. They're definitely known for their hot fudge.
Wait, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. The bumpy cake is not the thing with the baby inside.
No, that's a king cake.
That's a king cake.
Or if you're from Mexico, it's a rosca.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's a bumpy cake?
It's the devil's food cake with the whipped cream, or heavier than whipped cream.
Guys, I'm hungry. Come on.
I know. The yummy white cream, and then covered with chocolate ganache in little bumps.
Oh, I take it back. I think that is it.
Yeah.
I think that is it.
You think that's it? All right. I'm gonna say it's the hot fudge and the bumpy cake.
Okay, Seth?
Yeah, I agree.
You agree. You're half right.
Damn it.
Okay, it's the bumpy cake for sure.
Oh, it wasn't the hot fudge?
No.
I trusted you.
I trusted me too.
Ice cream sodas, you guys.
He invented the
really?
ice
So
cream soda?
apparently it was a hot day. There were thirsty customers, and his sweet cream had gone sour. And that's what was traditionally used to, mix with a pop to make a soda. So he was like, oh my gosh, let's throw some ice cream in there. But he's not the only one. Other people around the country claim to have invented it as well. But we're going to go with
Oh,
it.
yeah. Like I invented the microprocessor. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
But,
Totally. I invented the pizza.
Yeah, there you go.
Not the only guy though.
Okay, Carlos. So among the many food things you do is this whole pop-up concept. So you have not one, but two. You have Swerve and Khana. And, we've all seen the rise of these events, and a lot goes into them. Like, what is the process for throwing a successful pop-up event?
It didn't used to be the way that it is now. The OG process was you could just make food basically wherever you were, and you could sell it to your friends by getting out the word of mouth, either by like flyering a neighborhood or, being somewhere. We do it out of abandoned buildings, bars, friends' homes, a kitchen in your own home, and just have 30 people over and then sell food. But the concept now has changed a little bit more because you have to abide by certain regulations.
Wait, pop-ups are now subject to what, city laws or city ordinances?
Sometimes. It depends on the pop-up. It depends on what you're doing. We operate out of a licensed kitchen. That's number one. You should always be operating out of a licensed kitchen in order to create food. And then you then have your food available at a place, at an establishment. Ideally, that establishment has some kind of sink or other things like that. But we always function with the way that we go as if we can pop up on Belle Isle, basically. So we have everything that we need. But you would really just need a licensed kitchen nowadays, some good food, ways to keep your food cold if it's cold, and your warm food warm. And that's basically it.
And what makes it successful in terms of the other things going on in the space, would you say?
Like the other things going on that place is doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if it's a bar, they're going to be making all kinds of money off their bar sales, as long as you're able to bring in the customers as well. So some places they have, weekly, monthly pop-ups or events, and they already have their clientele and they're good with that. However, if you go to a place as well and you want to bring in your own crowd, people kind of hope that you can bring in a crowd as well. We've been fortunate enough to have our food kind of speak for itself over the past couple of years. And a lot of people know us for having this great food, and they'll come follow us now and check us out no matter where we're going to be. So what we've been looking now is also finding kind of homes or mainstays, doing weeklies or, doing a full home that we can call a home.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the other pieces, like a musician when they're playing at a club. That club owner does expect them to bring in some audience.
Totally.
So now these events are great because you've got the food, the music, the main bar, several people that can promote the event to bring everybody in there. So for you, what's the advantage of getting a more permanent home?
There's so many advantages. You don't have to lug stuff around constantly. That's a big thing because, I'm not getting any younger. But also, you can have all of your stuff in one place, getting to know your kitchen, to figure out where everything is and what you need to do with your kitchen. And then finding out, with this one place, this is all of the stuff that I can actually do out of this kitchen. And that gives you an opportunity to build up your menu according to what that space is too.
And your customer loyalty as well,
Yeah.
I would think, because then they know, okay, you're there.
Totally.
You don't have to look on your social media to find your next spot.
I'm curious, when you're doing a pop-up, what are red flags? What are signs that this isn't going to go the way that I thought it might go?
Number one, if the person that we're talking to isn't cool.
Meaning the venue,
Yeah,
the venue owner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
If a venue owner or person in charge is flustered or angry or has something that just kind of keeps me from thinking to myself, maybe I don't really want to do business with these people, that's kind of a red flag. Filth, dirt, grime. You don't want to see that. You want to see a cleaned up, put together space. And also you want to make sure that the staff is equally attentive. Like the one thing about the mentality that I have and I'd like to see reflected in the other people that we work with is that everything that you do, you should do with passion for it as if it's your own business, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like if there's a bartender there, that bartender should act like, yeah, you know what? This is my bar too. Because that's the way it should be.
So let's get specific. I know you're hungry, but we got to talk about your food. So you've got Khana.
Totally.
Tell us the flavors that are going on there.
So Khana is Pakistani inspired. My partner, Mariam Khan, she is Pakistani. I'm Mexican, amongst Italian and Lebanese as well. So I've come from a pretty good food background. Growing up, eating Thanksgivings weren't the same, Christmases weren't the same for me. And similarly, she grew up with a lot of different flavors in her home. So she would come home in the middle of the night as a teenager and think, okay, I'm going to grab some of this shrimp masala and make a slider out of it, things like that. So her and I became friends because of food, but also because of, the fun things that we would do here in the city. And we started talking about like, oh yeah, flavor infusions, different things that we did growing up. And we were saying, well, why don't we come up with an idea where we can kind of collaborate based off of the way that we like to eat? So we came up with the first dish that we collaborated on was butter chicken nachos. And then we did the shrimp masala slider and the aloo gobi burrito and now the chicken tikka taco. And these are all based off of flavors that both her and I know and the way that we grew up eating and the way that we grew up cooking. And now we're able to bring that and present that to a larger audience. We've got this new butter chicken fried sandwich that we're coming out. We're calling it the Sanduri. And it's ridiculous. It's a big sandwich.
Sounds amazing. So
that sounds like the gauntlet's been thrown down.
yes, I challenge.
I accept.
Yes.
I'll see you on Thursday.
All right.
Next time we'll eat them. So that's the operation that you're looking for a more permanent place, right?
Oh yeah,
So
overall,
what's your
absolutely.
dream situation?
Dream situation would be to continue working out of the same space and having, eventually we'd love to have a restaurant, right? Just one place that would be ours. For the time being though, we'd like to have the one place that we can share in common place with another organization and continue to build both of these businesses up as we build up our clientele together. It needs to make sense for both of us, really.
Does a pop-up give you certain freedoms that you wouldn't have or that you would lose if you had a permanent establishment?
Yeah, totally. You can change up your menu constantly. You can change up the style of cooking as well based off of what you want to bring or how you want to present things. And also, depending on the venue, you might have different pairings according to things. So, let's say that there's a venue at a brewery. You want to pair something with something that they have on the menu that's really interesting. Or also, we do something called samosas and chai nights, which are samosas and chai tea that we've been doing exclusively with 8 Degrees Play-Doh in Detroit. And that's because that place is so intimate. It's the perfect ambiance for it. And they've also been willing to do shots of alcohol to then add into our chai tea, which works out really well. And they also bring in different beers from all over the state that are, chai or other kinds of, Indo-Paki inspired.
So I like this, the idea that there's a lot of collaborative opportunities when you're popping up.
For sure. So, yeah. My life is about collaboration.
Well,
absolutely.
Let's talk about the other pop-up that you got.
Swerve, yes.
Swerve. So Swerve is myself and my friend Merck popping up over at Bikes and Coffee, which is our friend Ben Kehoe's shop. And we've been doing this for just about a year now. It all started early February. Myself and my friend Merck were out in Colorado with a handful of our other friends snowboarding. And he's like, yeah, I want to make us some breakfast burritos for tomorrow morning. And it's something that I've been just kind of playing around with, but let me know what you think. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me know how I can help. I'm sitting there in the kitchen. I'm watching him do jalapeno cream cheese as like a spread on the burrito amongst the other things that he puts in there. And I'm thinking, this is a smart idea. Jalapeno cream cheese plus the regular cheese. He made a cheese seal. So he did the roll and then put Munster cheese as a shred.
Now I'm hungry.
Sealed it.
Yes, the little cheese glue.
So that was like, yeah, we can just have you do this and I'll help you and we'll work on these burritos. We'll make like 3 different kinds of burritos and we'll see if we can do this just at a Ben's shop. Ben and I convinced him to do it and him and I came together and we've been doing these burritos now for 3 years. We've changed up the burritos since the first Swerve, but the new burritos have been the same since about June.
And I've seen it. You've popped up other places, like you were at Fold Creative, and so you will do that other places. But you sort of have this permanent home, I guess.
We've got a Saturday and Sunday every single morning. People know where to go in Woodbridge to pick up what I consider to be the best breakfast burritos in town. And if anybody else who makes breakfast burritos in town wants to say ours are better, I would love more than anything for them to bring their breakfast burritos to Bikes and Coffee on any Saturday and Sunday, specifically Sunday because I'll be there for sure, and just trade me. And we'll sit there and we'll hash it out. We'll hang out together and we'll talk about, oh, wow, your burritos are this and that. I didn't think to do that. Or you can try ours and be like, oh, I really do like it.
That would be a great video. I'd watch that.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So give some advice for somebody who's thinking about doing a pop-up, and maybe not even just a food pop-up, but a pop-up of, we see art galleries or all kinds of stuff.
Collectives.
What tips would you give to somebody who's thinking about doing one for the first time?
So I started doing the pop-ups probably about 9-10 years ago, and our first pop-up was called High Five Taco. We started doing it just because the pop-up scene was starting to come up at the time. And the way that I kind of got involved with it was because I became really involved in the community. I started hanging out with the right kinds of people, started seeing the things that they were doing. I was becoming newly inspired every single day by those people. And I made sure that I was talking to them about what they were doing, how they were going about it. And that's the best piece of advice that I can give to anybody, is just become a part of it. Be a part of it for sure.
Something we like to do on the show is give shout outs to just things that are going on locally that excite us. Becky, let's start with you. What do you got?
Yeah, so I wanted to give a shout out to the Mega 80s band. Carlos is shaking his head. Oh, yeah. Do you know about this, Seth?
I feel like I see, where's this? The Magic Bag? I feel like I see this.
They often play there. Yeah, it's kind of like their home
Yeah,
spot.
but I don't really know what the story is.
I hadn't been for a long time. These guys have been playing 80s tunes, and I'm talking everything from new wave to the hair bands to Prince and Michael Jackson to hip hop to everything in between. Every genre from the 80s. They've been doing it for over 20 years. And I hadn't seen them in a while. I went for a friend's birthday over the weekend, and they are still just killing it. The energy these guys have.
So awesome.
The costumes, they got like the Adidas tank tops and the whole 9 yards. The videos behind playing like clips of 80s movies and all those music videos you used to watch on MTV. And they're
remember MTV?
Yeah, they're great fun, and I had kind of forgotten about it. So I love that somebody has the passion to do something for so long and still bring it like all the time. So
there is something to be
shout
said
out.
for a really good cover band. I would tell you, I would take a cover band over karaoke any day of the week.
Oh, for sure. And what I love about them is they cover a lot of songs and they never play the full song.
Oh,
So you-
So it's like a DJ cutting up records,
Yeah, so you
except
don't get sick
with
of
a live
it.
guitar.
You just get the good,
Right.
the good taste
Get
of
to
them
the
all,
hook.
and then move on. Yeah, yeah.
I love this song.
That's
Oh,
the
I
way
love
to-
this song too. Whoa.
Oh, and this one. Oh, that song. Yeah. So that's my shout out.
Nice. What about you, Carlos?
I got to give a big shout to my friends over at Anthology Coffee. Not only have they been putting out what I consider to be the best coffee that I've had, because they're just so complex in taste and their attention to detail in every roast that they have is incredible. Their new space is beautiful inside of Eastern Market. So much so that they just hosted Valentine's Day Market this past weekend, bringing in businesses like Bon 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 and a bunch of unique type businesses from around the city, collaborating with all of these people. Even my friend Mark did kimchi, and you can't find really good kimchi, at least homemade here in the city. But dang, was this incredible! So they've been doing a great job, not just with the community there, but also at Eastern Market in general, being part of it. Bringing in people from the market community, like speaking with the owners of like Supino de Mancini or John Kung, who's been killing it for the pop-up world for years, but also just doing really good food in the community as well. And then just everybody that's part of Eastern Market organization too. Dan Carmody specifically has done a great job over the last 10 years plus building up the market and bringing it to the larger world and showing everybody what we can do.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's how I originally met you, was me doing tours in Eastern Market with Linda and you doing your Aunt Knees. And I just absolutely have to agree with you. I love that area so much. And
Totally.
I have to ask you, at the Valentine's Market, you mentioned Bon Bon Bon. Did you try the honey buns chocolate? Did you see this?
I don't think I saw it.
It has a little gold set of cheeks on top of the chocolate.
Wait,
Yeah.
what kind of cheeks?
Butt cheeks. Oh. It's called the honey buns. And it's like honey caramel or something. And I just thought, well, maybe you tried it.
No, I tried one bun while I was there because
Okay.
even though I love chocolate, I'm trying to reduce the amount of sugar that I eat.
Well, they're little, so you can have that treat.
So I can
once in
have
a while.
only 6. That's fine.
Yes.
All right, I want to give a shout out as well. I want to do some Oscar love while we still can. Wasn't a ton of Detroit representation at the Oscars this year, but the Detroit representation that was there was really a big deal.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because,
Yes.
you had Lin-Manuel Miranda, am I pronouncing that right? Miranda?
Miranda.
Who introduced the medley, of all the songs that they do for all the Songs of the Year nominees. And then Eminem comes up to the floor.
It was such a surprise.
And starts performing Lose Yourself. And nobody knew it was there. 20 years ago, he actually won the Oscar for Song of the Year.
18.
Is it 18?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
18 years
It was
ago?
18.
It
I
was.
just
And
feel
our friend
old.
Louis Resto accepted.
He was on the podcast. He's told us the story because Eminem didn't go because he didn't think he was going to win.
No way is the Academy giving a rap
So
song.
Louis Resto, who's also there in Eastern Market, actually was the one who got up on stage and he actually accepted the award. And so you think that line, you only get one shot. Well, he got a second shot to actually.
That's sweet.
And
know,
you saw
be at
the
the Oscars.
backdrop was very representative of Detroit. It was all up there, larger than life.
While we're talking about the Oscars, there is one other thing I want to mention. I know we're going to talk about this more next week. Hair Love is the animated short. So we did this thing. We talked about this last week that the DIA does. You haven't gone yet.
No, I'm going on Sunday.
So the DIA has this thing where they show all the animated short films and all the regular live action short films, and it's just kind of 2.5 hours long that they show in the theater there. And we got to see them all. My favorite was one called Hair Love, which is really, really good. It's also a children's book. I just bought it off of Amazon and it won the Oscar. Go check it out. It has no connection to Detroit, but it's absolutely amazing. It's worth seeing. All right, Carlos, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have you back here all week. Before we get out of here, let's talk a little bit again about these pop-ups. If people want to go check out the pop-ups, where do they find them?
The best place to find out about us is probably through social media nowadays. And if you don't have social media, you can always send me an email some way, shape, or form. But on social media, Khana is at Khana Detroit. That's Khana Detroit. Swerve is at Eat Swerve, EATSWERVE, if I spelled that right.
I think so.
And then, Aunt Nee's, our chips and salsa company. I'm at Eastern Market every single Saturday doing the guacamole that you can only buy there. You can find out about me by just Googling Aunt Nee's. We've got a website, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about this. You started your own chips and salsa company.
Yeah, that's another thing. Right?
I didn't start it, but I helped create the business, and now it's my business.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that, plus all of the other beautiful things that I've been able to put my name on in the city.
All right. Well, you're here all week. We'll talk about all of them. Before we do that, I want to let you know that we have a mobile app. Go download it. You can find all kinds of bonus episodes in there as well. And we are now closing every episode with a song by a local artist. Becky, what have we got today?
That's right. So again, I thought, it's the week of Valentine's Day. So I'm sure you guys love songs, right?
Really? is that where we're going with this?
No, but as the female voice of the show, I made the decision to do love songs. But they're not all about like sappy stuff.
Okay.
They're different varieties of love. But this one is Enchante by Carolyn Streetho. She's a singer, musician, songwriter. She's a total fixture on the Detroit music scene. She's been around a long time. She has 11 Detroit Music Awards at this point. It's just a cool rock star. She also has a book out called Detroit Maiden Energy. It's a poetry book and some of her song lyrics in there. You can get that anywhere, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc. So I think you're going to enjoy her rock and roll kind of French gypsy sounding song, Enchante.
All right. Well, let's check it out. And until tomorrow, Detroit's moving.
Keep up.
One thing could lead me to this. I didn't know. And one thing just cause of a kiss. Give it to me. Give me a piece of your heart. Give it to me. I knew this right from the start. Enchanté avec moi, enchanté avec moi, enchanté avec moi, enchanté avec moi. Donnez-moi un concours, donne-toi avec moi. Donnez-moi un concours, donne-toi avec moi. didn't know. One thing is cause of a kiss. Enchanté, avec moi. Enchanté, avec moi. Enchanté, avec moi. Enchanté, avec moi.
The D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.